Very proud to have our esteemed panelists. It's a mix of academia, and the industry, and a very special mention to the professors from the academia. But one thing is very important. You might have missed it. This I discovered in the morning, so I want to mention it. Our friend Ashok Madaan, he's heading enterprise fresher cadre management. So actually what he is doing, he's the one who is trying to integrate everything that comes from academia to the industry. And he works for SCL. And it's a very interesting thing he is doing. We'll start straight away, and this particular thing, the particular space, ecosystem of industry and academia, there's a lot of things that have gone through over the years. It has moved from hiring to some MOUs being signed across to participate to visits to the university, and then it has gone to creating curriculum which is helping the industries along. And we'll hear the views from our esteemed panelists around this subject. I'll go straight away to the first question, and this goes to Professor Anand. So, Professor Anand, just to have your view on, you see there's this lot happening around the traditional engineering areas, and with new domains of climate tech and space tech coming in. How do you see that you prepare the students, not for their first job, but for multiple things that they go through their career?
So the question is, how do you train a student for the last job? See, student has about 35 years of working. It is not that we train him for the first job, because it works. It's working. Closer, yeah, okay. So, as I was mentioning, student has about 35 years of working, lifespan. And we need not train only him for the first job, him or her, because during the journey, he's changing the jobs. And he has to quickly adapt to a new job. So basically, we have to train them for the last job. Now, how do we do that? The technology is changing very fast. There was discussion about AI. We had large language models, basic AI, then large language models, and now large reasoning models and whatnot, DeepSeek, all those technologies, rapidly moving very fast. And academia cannot catch up. So there is a gap between how the technology is moving and what academia is teaching. And he mentioned about two sectors, space and climate, yeah. So if I take example from space, a CubeSat is a very small, satellite, which is low Earth orbit. It's about 10 centimeter into 10 centimeter to 10 centimeter. And you add these satellites, these CubeSats, to make a bigger satellite. Now, if you want to design this satellite, you require knowledge of computer science, you require knowledge of electronics, sensors, IoT, telecommunication. So you require all. But what we teach is maybe one discipline, right? The second example which he mentions, climate. So if I take one example from this, urban mobility, smart urban mobility. So you require knowledge how the traffic is moving, how do you optimize, so some mathematics is required here. You require some details about the pollution. So basically you require information from different disciplines, right? So we need to somehow train the student so that he is able to learn, relearn, unlearn, and relearn a new topic. So this is what we have to teach. So for doing this, we need some basic, things we should do in our curriculum. So let us start with the curriculum. So we should have, some core courses. Of course, you have to teach some core courses, right? But we should have more of electives and MOOCs, massive online courses, because the institute cannot have, expertise in all the areas. So you should have, MOOCs or micro credentials or nano degrees or nano credentials. These are small modules in different areas, which are made by some very learned professors, which a student can take as elective during his course. So depending on the interest, he can make his basket of courses, which will include core courses as well as courses from MOOCs or micro credentials. So this is one we have to do. The second thing is pedagogy. We have to also change our pedagogy approach. Now I need to teach him some metacognition skills so that he's quickly able to learn a new topic. Suppose he's changing the field and he has to learn a topic. We need to teach some skills so that he's quickly adapting to the new topic, right? So we need to include all these courses in our curriculum. Then the third thing is assessment. How do you assess a student? Right now, he appears for exam, gets some credits and marks, but I think it has to change. The assessment part has to change. We need to ensure that what he has contributed beyond the formal degrees, what kind of projects he has done, is it making any impact to the society? That system thinking, making a project which is useful to the society. So he has to make a portfolio, and based on that portfolio, you have to assess the student. The next thing which all universities should do, I think there was a lot of discussion earlier also, to have a good incubation studio or incubation center. All my lab should be a living lab. If anybody wants to try any idea, he should get that opportunity. Some ideas will click, they will be converted into companies and some big companies and things like that. So we should have that environment of incubation center within the university. The next thing, currently our educators or teachers, they are not trained for this. They also need training. Right now they give lectures, grade the students, but expectation from them is now different. We want them to be coach, help the students in realizing those real world problems or solve those real world problems. So let us not take a degree as a product, but learning as a journey. That concept has to change. So we have to change from control. We don't have to control the student. From control to engagement, we have to engage with the student. From rigidity to agility. We don't want their curriculum to be very rigid. He or she should be given flexibility, agility, right? And third is from power to partnership. You have to work along with the students to achieve some objectives. And so these are my initial thoughts. Maybe I'll come again in between. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Professor Anand. So from a degree as a product to learning as a journey, from moving from control to coach, such a nice thought. So Dr. Gopalakrishnan, if you can say a few things, what is Amrita Institute trying to do around this space, trying to create this?
Good afternoon to all. So thank you very much for the opportunity. So basically I will just add on to what Professor said. So we need to move from something like a content delivery, mere content delivery, to capacity building. And also you need to break the silos of the disciplines. Like for example, if you take climate science for that matter, as he correctly pointed out, it is not just one discipline. You need to know mathematics, you need to know physics, you need to know management, you need to know AI, you need to know sensors. So now how do you practically implement it? So one such project that we do in Amrita, I will just very quickly explain about it. So incidentally it is named as Live-in Labs. So wherein our parent organization, Mata Amrita Netaji Mutt, under the leadership of our Chancellor, Mata Amrita Netaji Devi, they have adopted 100 villages in India. And our students, the interdisciplinary group of students, go there, stay there, understand the problems of the villagers, and develop technology-based solution. So now this group of students will not be from just one discipline, but they will be from various disciplines, starting from engineering to management. And interestingly, we have seen that even our international partners are interested in this. So that is one way of giving an opportunity to the students to directly go to the field and understand the problems and develop the solution. And just to add one more point is like, how do you bring in the flexibility in the curriculum? Is the NEP allows you to do that by way of bringing in minors, by way of bringing in micro credentials, as he rightly pointed out. So starting from the very beginning, I may be doing a major in mechanical engineering, but I should have an option to do a minor in computer science. Or even it should go beyond, I may do a minor in economics. So it depends on the breadth of your university. So if your university has that much spectrum, then definitely it should offer.
Thanks. And Doctor, if I may ask you, how do you future-proof the engineering workforce by anchoring learning, which is not just in tools, but the mindset, adaptability, the problem-solving ability, the listening skills, etc.?
I think it's a very, very relevant question, especially when we are talking about the disruption that the AI brings, which is the greatest disruptor. So I always think that if some of you at least maybe or might have watched the Batman series, so I feel AI is past something like a Batman. So because he is actually a hero, but somehow or the other people misunderstand him as a villain. So similarly here what happens is that when we are focusing, when our focus is shifted to tools, then of course it is creating a crisis. But if we see deep, what is really AI, it is nothing but mathematics and physics. So how we need to train our students is we need to train students in the core concepts or fundamental concepts. As he was pointing out in his answer, like systems thinking or creative thinking, problem solving. So these are the core skills that they should develop. So one example that we can take is like all of us know that a very popular large language model suddenly lost its base because of a new entrant, and nobody expected such a entry. And if you see how they developed it, so everybody was going after increasing the hardware capacity, whereas the new large language model, actually they focused on the software concepts as well as bringing something like changing the very nature in which you are training the model. So what it means is that it is still relevant for you to focus on the foundational skills rather than looking at the tool. So I feel we need to move from a tool first, problem second approach to a problem first, tool second approach, because the tools could change. So as we have people from all ages here, so people might have started learning Fortran. I think many of us might have learned Fortran, and then now people are talking about Python. But your basic skills to code, that remains the same. The algorithmic thinking remains the same. So I feel we need to focus on the foundational skills and shift the focus from the tools to the problem and bring in learning agility, as he was pointing out, and also bring the ability for the lifelong learning, so that the student is not going to think that my graduation is my end point. Rather than viewing it as an end point, it is actually a springboard. Because the major crisis that we are facing now is like earlier, if I learn for 4 years, it is for 40 years. But now even if I learn for 40 years, it may not stand for 4 years. So we need to bring that change is what I feel. Thank you.
Thanks. From tool first to problem second, moving from problem first to tool second. And you're so right. You don't do 4 years engineering for next 40 years. Actually, you learn every day, and every day things keep changing. One of the person in our panel is actually living this, Mr. Ashok Madaan. If you can help us understand how it's happening at SCL.
Okay. I think I would thank both Professor Anand and Professor Gopalakrishnan. I think they have all touched these very relevant points. And I will summarize this in just one line. I think the way they are tweaking their ways of teaching and curriculum is basically it's adapting to the Gen Z style of learning. Because today's these Gen Z, I think if you can understand their psyche and adapt to their style of learning, it's done. You don't need to teach them technology at all. You just need to coach them and make them learn how to learn. I think that is the most important part. They are very tech savvy. They are very, very fast in learning technology. Majority of us sitting here, if we have a problem with our mobile phone, we go to our kids. They know much more than that, and they have not gone through any formal learning on that. I think that is the way, and we have to give them choices on what they should learn and let them decide what is best for them, rather than putting them into a cube and making them learn something. That is one. Second is, one thing which we are doing now for the freshers we hire. We are bringing all the freshers to a classroom, which may sound a little bit historical because everyone is moving toward online e-learning. We are bringing them to a classroom. We are making them sit in that classroom for 3 months. And we are teaching them very, very fundamentals and basics, but we are making that learning very, very fun oriented. Every day during this, it's a 6-day learning, 9 to 6, packed in the classroom. Every day they have 2 hours of theatre-based workshop. We have hired theatre artists to do that. And the agenda of the theatre-based workshop is campus to corporate transition. I think that is what we need to teach them. Because these are Insta generation. They will just write all these slangs and the smileys and all that even in the email communication in the formal corporate this thing, which will not be acceptable. I think we have to teach them in a very funny way. If you just point it out, they will question you because they have ability to do that, and they don't bother whether you are senior or junior, your parents or son or daughter. They will question you. I think you have to teach them in their way of learning. That is the way we are doing it, and making them realize what is required when they transition and how to learn technologies, what we teach, because technology is changing at such a fast pace. We can't blame the professors or the academia for that. I think even they will not be able to keep pace about it. That is the only way we have to do it. And that after this end of 3 months, we give them a very formal assessment of all the things which they have learned. And believe me, these assessments are all open book assessments because we allow them to use all the chat GPTs of the world. If the tools are available, why not use it? I think that's the way. If you can be more productive by using the tools available freely, please use it. But give me a solution. So as he rightly said, if I give you a problem, you should be able to curate an algorithm about it. If your algorithm is correct, solution is very easy to hold. I think that is critical thinking, algorithmic thinking. I think these are important things we should teach them. Technology they can learn on their own, whether it's through MOOCs or through Udemy's of the world or Skillsoft of the world. Enough sources are available to them.
Thank you so much. Let's move to some thoughts from the industry. This is to Shaleen and Deepti, both of you. Is it time to move from curriculum-centric education to experience-centric models?
So, good afternoon everyone. So, it's been great to be here in front of all of you. So, look, I feel that this is the right time for the academia to rise from curriculum-centric education to experience-centric education. And I'll tell you the reason why. In fact, I share a stark reality with all of you. You know, as per the business standard, how many engineers that India produces every year? Any vague idea? And please don't Google right now. I'm sure you'll get the answer. So, yeah. So, okay. So, as per the report which has been published by Business Standard, it's 1.5 million engineers being produced by India every year. And to my surprise, when I was going through the report, only 60% of those are employable. And to my further surprise, only 45% of the students meet our standards of hiring. And eventually, only 10% of the engineers get the jobs in the industry. I'm sure in the technology sector, because we are talking about the engineers. And that's where my answer is. So, the theoretical foundation is very, very critical. Completely agree. But does it sufficient enough? No. It's not sufficient enough, because the way things are moving rapidly in the industry landscape, where accountability, innovation, your problem solving is so prized. In fact, the changes happening in the technology sector is so seismic for the last 2-3 years with the evolution of technology around. I think it's a high time that the academia looks over balancing this or moving more towards the education-centric side. And as an industry leader, I say students, so whenever they hit the ground running, I expect the knowledge they carry, in fact, they should apply that knowledge into a very dynamic and real-time environment, because that demands your live projects, your co-op education, and also the internship, which is there. You know, the colleges allow one internship, two internship, but why not the four internship, or maybe life projects in every semester, or maybe in the final semester they can take up a full-time work rather than getting into the job. It's all about, at the end of the day, why they are studying, to get a good job, the first job. I think that's how we can make a lot of shift over there. And I'm a firm believer that the employee-centric approach is going to really help it, because it helps foster capabilities or skills like your communication. It's not about talking in English, because I'm sure there are sets of, but how to really communicate, articulate, how to use critical thinking, how to adapt, being agile. I think this is very, very important. And actually that demands a lot of changes around. And in fact, all your learning agility, even if the Stanford and MIT researchers says that, when actually whatever you have learned, you can also retain 70% of the knowledge if you really go in and do a hands-on learning rather than only maybe instruction-based learning. So that's how the change is required. And as a industry leaders, we are more than happy to partner with the academician in forming a very well-structured curriculum, maybe joint certifications, or maybe doing live projects together. All that we are ready with, but we need a basic level of foundation in the students around, which we can, because we don't have much time right now. Look, we are going through extremely fast-paced changing environment in the industry side as well. We want students to maybe be productive on day one. I'm so sorry, I'm saying that you are saying 3 months, but at the end of the day, industry wants people to be very, very productive day one, because not every organization is ready to give 3 to 6 months. So what is the alternative? Alternative is that we get ready resources. And if we need ready resources, obviously we need to maybe push the learning side even further. And that's where we can start it, from the engineering time itself. So my request to the academia is that, and this is an experience I personally felt, that we have actually got certain resumes in our organization, and the student wanted to do live projects because they were doing Java, C++ and Python in their college, and we had a certain imaging and camera testing requirements that we really facing a lot of issues with the quality of cameras in the phone, because I coming from the handsets, mobile handset side. So we reached out to them, we really liked and they really wanted to do a live project, but when they reached out to their college, they said no to it. That we will not allow you to go and do the live projects because your study will hamper and all that. But we formed a way to really pick those guys up, and they did our projects. How they managed it, we don't know, but we were very, very happy. And out of the 3 guys, eventually, not even they have done the internship with us, we have given them offers to join because they were so dynamic. And over the period of time, we really found them to be very relevant to us. So why to really spend a lot of money hiring a lateral hire when I really looking forward to hire a young Turk in my organization, spending less and get the best talent in 22, 23 years of age. So, which is why I say that maybe a lot of time academia maybe held industry responsible, but we really wanted to contribute toward that. But the only expectations that we have from the industry side, that we actually need the ready resources, at least not 100%, then at least 60 to 70%, and that's where we need support from the academia side. So that's my viewpoint, and I'm sure all of you guys are, in fact the students who are sitting there, guys, if you really want to, at the end of the day, you all want to pick up a good jobs for yourself. It's the education is a journey around. I'm sure you're going to do well there if you really concentrate on getting some experience around the corner and do well for yourself as well, and keep yourself ready with all the job related skills. Okay, academic skills you anyways will build in the 4 years, but please do focus on job related skills. AI automation, learning platforms, Coursera, many things are there. Please do explore. Don't hold yourself to academia. Okay, it is very, very important, critical, and I'm sitting with the academician with all due respect, but your end result should get the best out of yourself. So,
thanks so much. And then moving to Deepti on the same question. Deepti, you have been with multiple big corporations. You started with SCL, so you have the same experience, what Mr. Madaan is doing today. You have been leading HR for Luminous, Schneider, now with your current company. What have been your problem areas? How have you solved around this space?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving us an opportunity. I think everybody is quite enough, and I will not take it, too academic side. I will make sure that whatever we face daily, we'll discuss that. So coming to his point, wherein he has mentioned very categorically, like, as an industry expert, we expect the people, the students who are becoming our, new joiners, they should be ready day one. Having said that, let's go back, and wherein my co-panelist has very rightly said 3-4 things, and where I really liked, we have to train our professors, we have to train our student. It is no more, if I go back somewhere and I was listening to somebody and everybody was saying my kid has scored 98%, my kid has scored 99.9%, and I was like, how is it possible? At our time when we were, of course, we are not that old. Having said that, still, we used to get 70%, 75%, and we used to say we have scored pretty well. Today's generation is like too much focus, and they're very worried about their percentage, because might be in our offices we have a peer pressure, they have a student pressure, and parents are also very, very much worried why he has scored this much, you have scored this much. So, why I'm sharing this is because while interacting with a couple of students wherein they join us, they have too much of pressure, whenever they're joining industry also, and then also we expect day one, from them to right now deliver. But who has seen like what is the kind of curriculum and what is the kind of experience we should give them from industry side? My company, if I talk about the challenges which you have asked, we have n number of challenges. They were asking like 60% people are coming, joining. Some people are saying 30%, but if we are not been able to find people, irrespective, because we work in auto technology. I don't know how many of you know, this auto technology comes from Germany. And we have couple of skills called AutoSAR. I'll just take an example. I don't know how many of you are engineers. You might be there and then you might be knowing. But for us, we have a lot of jobs, but we do not have talent. And it has become such a big problem statement for us as an industry expert, where to get people from. We are ready to train, we are ready to give whatever training, and this training is not easy. So this training, we have to spend 1 crore of rupee for a one person. Like, there's a technology called A-Spice, there's a technology called AutoSAR, we are not getting it. It was a food for thought when I was just, I had gone for a panel, and wherein I had put in this to IIT Delhi, wherein I was there. I said, help me out. Students were there, help me out. How do we, overcome with this challenge? Because we have a lot of profile, we have a lot of projects, but we do not have people to work. And we're expecting, of course, I work with 4 generations. So I have baby boomers, I have Gen X, Y, Z, they're working together, right? The problem is this industry works with cross-functional team. Without cross-functional team, you cannot introduce a product, right? From innovation, then it goes to quality, then it goes to testing, then it goes to production, and then it comes there, right? It becomes very difficult for us to compromise on quality. I'm not saying other companies were doing it, but we make car-based system. If you look at Mahindra is our biggest customer. If you look at 9E6V has been done by us. If you look at the XUV 700, ADAS has been done by us. Whenever we make a product, so it is like we are playing with human beings, because human being will be driving, and we have to be very safe, and we have to doubly sure about quality. Why I'm saying this is, this was really a problem statement, but what we have now decided, to get in touch with academia, wherein we are asking them, help us. We will give you the material, we will make sure that our experts going, teaching, training, right, your students, and I will be ready to take them. And rather than giving them a theoretical knowledge, which everybody of you have said already, We wanted to work them on live projects. Rather than, you know, we did discuss with one university, I cannot, you know, name it, but we said like, you know, if we take any vehicle, open that vehicle and check the kind of technology they have worked. So some interns were working on that particular platform and they came up with some idea, this is how the technology they have worked on, this is a thing which we can implement. We are focusing more on that rather than only going, finding what is the percentage in 10th, 12th or graduation or post-graduation or engineering or wherever. That doesn't work. That seriously doesn't work right now. I'm not, everybody, as he said everybody is AI trained. Who knows better than me? I have all Gen Z working with me, N-1 and -2. You know, at time I find so difficult, but these are the guys, I ask them to type a mail, they'll go do ChatGPT quickly and give it to me, but rather I am doing it by myself, you know, taking 15 minutes, 20 minutes to write that mail and they're coming up with, you know, 2 minutes. So that technology is given in this kind of generation today. But what we have to do is how you being an academia can help us to overcome and create some leaders in the campus itself, wherein once they are ready after 4 years, we give them an opportunity, we give them a placement, and then they are day one ready. For that, I think we as an industry expert, of course it is difficult, but we have to make sure that we are available, we are going there teaching, and the day one, whenever the student is joining us, he or she is ready after 15 days of simple orientation induction. This is one thing which we are seeking for, and this is one thing we are experiencing. Right now, if I look at my recruitment team, you know, poor girl, there are 2-3 people, and they've been dealing with these guys. And you know, we have seen experienced people because of this niche skill, experienced people do not have that ethics. They are taking the offer, there's an offer buying happening, there's offer shopping happening. So the one way what we can do, number one, and we have started doing is, we have adopted 2 universities. We are making sure that we are teaching their students, and we are making sure that after 2 years, 3 years, whenever the students are ready, we are ready to take them. Another thing which I expect the industry, and I'm sure a lot of people are there, you know, there's a lot of pressure to these students. The one topic which wherever I go, I say, well-being and empathy. This is something should be taught, you know, in the curriculum. Why I'm saying this? Because there's a lot of pressure, as I said, peer pressure, as I said, student pressure, the parents' pressure. His kid has got 98%, why this has 99%, or why didn't you score much? And you know, it becomes so difficult, and then you know, they are taking very, very high steps, and I don't want to name it, and you know it better. But empathy is something which should be there in their value system. It should be taught in the campus itself so that they can relate. Of course, work can be taught, right? Skills can be taught. But these are the things which should be inbuilt, so that whenever there is a pressure, they have the capacity to take that pressure in the industry, is something which I just wanted to put it on the table. Hope I made sense. Yeah?
You did, thanks.
Sorry?
Have you tried Hero University?
I didn't.
Try that. You will get whatever you want. Don't go to IIT.
Sure.
I have not gone to IIT.
We'll go to IIT, but we'll also come to Hero University for sure. We have 6.5 minutes. I had a lot of things to discuss, but due to paucity of time, I'll move to for a question to Mr. Ashok Madaan. See, you are in this space where you are trying to integrate everything that is coming out of college into the this journey from campus to industry. What are the barriers you see for a stronger industry-academia relationship?
I'll not call barriers, maybe there are challenges, I will say, more on the positive note. And I think it's from both the sides, both from industry and academia. I am being from the industry side, but I'll not defend them. I think there are enough improvement options available there. So first barrier or challenge, what we call is I think the difference in the priorities. Now, if it's you are representing industry, then industry is mad after showing quarterly profits, very short-term vision. No one wants to invest for the long term because that's the shareholder pressure you have, and every quarter you have to show that. Because of which you don't have time to invest in some of these long-term initiatives, for example, internships to the students or collaborating with academia and going and teaching them, etc. And similarly, if you go to the other side, on the academia side, most of these new private universities and autonomous universities, although they have the advantage of tweaking the curriculum as per their requirement, but they are also under pressure to generate more money, more profit. In fact, last week I was talking to one of the leading engineering institution in Greater Noida, their senior management, and they were telling me this year 70% of their engineering student intake is into computer science, and only 30% remaining all branches. So I asked them, do you have the faculty? They will manage. So that the kind of situation they are in, and you can understand the situation of the students in such scenario when you have such a large number of computer science students, but faculty is hardly there, and most of the people who passed out from the college are teaching actually. So I think that's the kind of situation. So priorities are very, very different. I think that is one biggest this thing. Now, if you look at the how do you change this? How do you make this more collaborative? I think one thing which is every college has this concept of internship, so summer internship or semester internship, but majority of the companies are shying away from providing that, including ours. I will not say anyone else. Now, why? Because we don't have time. We have enough pressure to produce profits for the organization. So I think if there's someone from the government side, there's a policy intervention which is required. I think there's a policy that every company has to spend X amount of money on their corporate social responsibility. Why don't you make this internship as part of that goal and count it there? I think it will be a very good initiative. You can do that, and organizations will be more than happy to then provide this. But on the other side, I have not seen any college or any academic institution which thinks same about the faculty. Faculty should also go to the industry and dirty their hands on the job floor. Why they are not sent for the deputation to the industry for 6 months after 2 years or a few months every year? Let them learn what is industry requiring, what does industry want. Teaching from the same old book which was written 20 years back, and how does it make a difference to the students? They don't need that. They can learn that themselves on the online courses. I think what they need is the practical aspect, the hands-on aspect. This 3 months training which I was talking about, only 1 to 2 hours of theory. Remaining 6 to 8 hours are total hands-on practice. And every day the SMEs from the shop floor or the industry will come and talk to them and give them the real vision, what are the real lifetime projects. I was giving one example to him recently that earlier when we used to hire, we used to do a stack ranking of the freshers, and the best one used to go for development, and second best go to the maintenance support, third best go to the testing and all that. Recently I was talking to my business leaders, he said, no, this is all bullshit. I want the best ones to go to the maintenance and support. I don't want to go to development. Development is very easy today. Yeah, there are so many support tools available, and you have all the luxury of the time in the development. You have the defined deadline, you can do it that. A maintenance support guy has to decide on the spur of the moment, this is a solution I have to provide. He should be much more smarter than the developer. He doesn't have all the luxury of the tools and the time available with him. So things are changing very fast. I think the problem solving, the critical thinking, all those are very important things now. So for that, I think the collaboration is extremely important. Communication is extremely important. Most of the colleges have board of studies in which they have, for the namesake, 1 or 2 representatives from the industry to define the curriculum. Are we really doing the good job in that? I'm extremely sorry we are not. Both the side is just a tick mark item. If that is done very seriously, then you will have the industry ready curriculum and we'll have people ready who can deploy from the day one. Why do I need to invest 3 months of training? I'll tell you one more example. Last 10 years back, we started a new initiative, it's called Tech B. We are taking 12th pass, no engineering degree, training them for 1 year, and they are producing results which are better than the 4-year degree guys. Just to take care of the career aspiration, we are providing them online degrees through BITS Pilani and IITs of the world, so that they get degree also during the job, and we are funding that degree, we are funding their training also. But they are producing much better results than the 4-year engineering. Why do you need to teach them for 4 years? That 4 years should be spent more on practical hands-on rather than theory. At time when I graduated, it was an Indo-German collaboration college. At that time, out of the 4 years, 1 year was complete internship. And during the days also, 5 days of the working, 2.5 day theory, 2.5 day complete lab and workshop. That was the curriculum I was taught. That's why we are so hands-on. I think today the things have changed. It's number game, 99%, 100%. That's the way you have to crack the exam and get it. That's not going to give you results. I have another initiative in my organization. It's called Skill First Organization. So we are, every engineer, whether it's a fresher or lateral, we are giving them some sort of assessment based on the skill which they required for the proficiency measurement. So they are graded on a scale of 1 to 6 on that proficiency. And based on that proficiency level, we assign them the work. Based on that proficiency level, we charge the customer for that work which is being produced. Even freshers are getting paid from the customer side more than a 4-year or 5-year guy because the proficiency is higher. This is giving us humongous profitability. And organization is much more happy to invest in that freshers. That's the reason we are taking 10,000, 20,000 freshers every year. I think if we have to invest, we have to invest in the latest ways of working of these Gen Zs and appreciate their proficiency. Rather than just going by 4-year degree, IIT degree, MBA degree, I think that's not going to help. See what is they are producing on the ground. That should be measured and that should be rewarded.
Thanks, Mr. Madaan. See, our time's up, so I will not eat into other panels' time. I had a lot of things to discuss. We prepared a lot. We initially had an hour to go, then 30 minutes. Fine. Thanks. I would like to thank the panelists for being here, and thank you for being a great audience. But before we go out, would just like to say that there's a responsibility both sides. It is not only lying on the academia. It is a lot of responsibility on the industry side. So if I have a need to have a ready-made resource day one, then that is my problem. That is my need. I have to solve for my need. So either I invest a bunch of time and resources in developing it, or I go to academia and say, this is my need, can you partner, can you build this up, so the person who comes out day one starts to work with me. And you know, I've designed a lot of programs for the GETs. I have seen it very closely. I've been to campuses, I've interacted with a lot of people, but the responsibility both sides, a larger responsibility I'll say is on the big brother industry, because academia actually they have their own I'll say limitations, and but they are trying. My son is doing his BTech in computer science. I was very amazed to see that first year he has entrepreneurship mindset as a subject, and he's going through that. I was so surprised, very happy with that, and I also contributed. So there's something happening there. Industry also needs to take a step forward. Of course, I think the government also needs to speed this up. Thank you so much for being such a nice audience, and let's clap for our panelists who have shared their great thoughts.